the outside of the finger.
Oh, yeah, let's start with this. Two up to mine. Compare attention on one. For one. Hey. Hey. Back the shoulder. Back the body. Up. From here. Anytime that we're in combine, okay, well, anytime at all, our elbows want to be down. We don't want to kick them, right? When you throw this punch, I don't want to get thrown. Straight. Right where it is, straight. Off of this hip rotation. No reason to throw the elbow, you don't need to. Straight out. That way, exactly.
So when you have it ever thought that when you throw punches, so I'm moving my shoulder first, then and you're saying it needs to come from, now it comes from the shoulder and not up.
Yes. Well, a little more detail. Like everything you do, it's going to start from the floor.
Yes.
So here, I'm driving out, I'm going to over exaggerate, but there's nothing wrong with over exaggerating when you're doing it. Here, down. It's actually starting at the floor as I'm driving in to accelerate the hip, then connect to the shoulder. Crack a bullet, or see one crack. If I grab it by the very end, I'm doing it. I grab by the handle, and let it go. So if I take it and I just swing, I do it. Right? Except it, well, but it's not really going to hurt. If I just take it and I just rip it this way, and whatever. To get that, it's the same thing. It's that incremental joint. Bang, 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 bang. Hey. As soon as you start to go forward, you're doing this. So straight forward. Hey. Better. Good. Run. Hey. Go. Yeah, good. That's what I'm talking about. Go. Leap. Hut. 2. 2.
Hey!
Hey! Hey! Hut! Hey! Go!
Hey!
Go! Leap! Hut!
Hey!
2. 2.
Hey!
Good. Number 2. Hey. Down, Jake. Flat paper chase. Hey. Up. Eight. Oh. Rope. Eight. Right. Two. Two. Good. Number three. Eight. Eight. Up. Eight. From here, I don't want to just flop out. We'll never do that. So I'm still going to make my half moon in, which is going to load this hip. If you want to think about it, think about pulling to a cap. As I go out, I'm getting offline here. This way. I want this hard lean. Which again, loads all of this up to the round kick in the reverse ball. If your knees will take it, more lean. Eight. Huh? That, yeah, that. Okay. Eight. Whoa. Look at this There's a principle from Lakobu. Okay. Closest hand, closest punch. So whatever, if I'm here, his theory would be you're missing the punch. Whether it's block punch, whatever, you get missing the punch. From here, there. So, and again, I double block. Here, right? So as whatever this is that's causing me to get out of the way, this is the first thing that comes. So here, I'm loading, if I turn it around, I'm loading to a back. I'm loading to a shoot back. I don't even look at it. So that this one is on the outside, this one rolls to the inside. Will do, exactly. So here, this one starts, I go out and finish. Now, there's a couple of ways, not back here. Actually, this is Koku. The next kata that we do is Jutei. We do this several times in Jutei, so we're going to get to it. Here, this one. Now, this round kick, there's a couple of ways to do it. I can either load the round kick like a normal kick, or I can kind of roll it this way. Here. They both do different things. Michelle and James like the second one. I really don't like going around kick there, but it makes the drill, so I live with it. I need to practice anyway. So pick it up. On the ground kick. And then as I put it back down, all I have to do is kick it.
I guess I didn't see.
Okay. So here's this way. I can either load the round kick, so I'm kicking the round kick to get up and over, or from here, I'm going to come this way.
Oh, down.
Down. So that I'm rolling on top of the back. Eight. Pass. Good. Up. Keep going. You good. You're going to end up both palms out. Hook. I think about, I have their sleeve and I have their shoulder. Hey. Hey. Up. You weren't here Monday, were you? Yeah, I'm here for a second. Before I show you the video, maybe I'll try and describe what I'm talking about. In geometry, that's called a torus. If you get here or there, that's what it's called. If you start to spin that, kind of twist it, you get these very strange linear while circular power lines coming out. So one of the things that we're trying to do in Chikaru, and in fact Jitsu and Sword, basically everything that we do around here, is to achieve that type of power line. It's circling but linear depending on how you want to look at it. And I think we talked about it before. Our structure builds off the triangle. So no matter what, you can always keep subdividing, or should be able to subdivide whatever you're doing into a whole bunch of little triangles. So from that structure of a triangle, we want this kind of circular flow that makes a straight line. I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of our universes of travel. In books and whatever, you always see the sun and the planets orbit. Well, in reality, our solar system circles the Milky Way, right? So it moves. Our sun is actually going this way. We're actually laying on our side relative to the angle close. So the sun is going, let's just say, this way. The planets are going around it this way. So if you map it, you get helix. Same thing here. In the ground, I want this twisting nut. So, twist. Even though I'm twisting, I'm still making this straight line here. So all that, after I come off of here, as I start this twist here, I'm going to load this one to come back. I'm not going to leave it here and try to push it. I'm going to let this twist as I come back over the edge. There's a physicist by the name of Nassim Haramein, which means nothing to anybody. He took the yin yang, he took a double torus and he mapped this linear flow pattern on it, and it generates the yin yang symbol. So look at that, how it twists. Whether you're looking at it from the side or on top, you see it's a linear progression of power that wraps through the circle. So that's the translator we're trying to achieve. Well, we got to the forest and fold it up into a sphere. And you start to rotate. That type of linear yet circular motion all at the same time is what we're trying to achieve. So again, all of this, when we talk about everything we do twist. So here, even like when we get to Naipanchi, which is 3 more, 5, we make this hook punch here. Still going to twist. A lot of people want to go, still has to still want that beautiful flow out like this. Come on. Again, number 3. Hey. You have to load it, but I don't want loaded. I want loaded. Hot. Better. Cheek. Go. Go. There you go. And 5. Neat. Hot. 2. Good. Hey. Good. Just gotta creep him back a little bit. Right there. Good. All right. Come on. Last one, number 4. Hey. 8. Back to this. 1, 2, pump. Yeah. Okay. When I'm coming forward, this hand doesn't need to do anything. It just goes with it. Excuse me. You're You're wanting to make a rising block out of it, I think, is what you're doing. But anyway, it's wanting to come up. So I think we talked about this before. There's two ways to get to a place. So if I want this hand closer to me, I can either bring the hand to me or I can bring me to the hand. In this case, I'm bringing me to the hand. Here's where I'm loading. As I slide out, I make my downward. Back twist. Again, round kick. Stays here. Hey. Ah, good. Excellent. Hey. That's what I'm talking about right there. Good. Up. Hey. Go. Hey. Go. Hey. Hut. Two. Two. Hey. Okay. From the knees up, I want you to keep everything that you're doing. From the knees down, I want you to bring a little more half move, not so much just straight out. A little more feet together. And then out. There we go. That one. Hey. Yes, good. 8. 1. 8. Relax the shoulder, keep the elbow down. Up. 2. 2. Good. Come in. Find the natural water. Oof. Questions, pension hoppo combative?
I'm sorry?
Any questions on pension hoppo combative? The first 4 anyway.
Is it a swing? Yeah. I know it's a down block.
Right.
So I feel like I'm not doing it right.
Okay. No, young man, the question I'm hearing goes back to just what we were talking about. I don't want to ever make just a straight line motion. So as I'm here and I come in, that same thing. So again, I want all of these helices coming up, loading it in, and pushing out. Like for me, I'll even twist it to a hammer twist because that's the apex of my block from this angle. Here, I am too low. Here is where I'm going to finish my block. For me, yes, I extend it towards the center line of my body in this direction. Now, don't get wrapped up in that. You ain't me, I ain't you. You go wherever your body's telling you to go. Up the elbow. Right here. Right there. here, well, one of the reasons that I twist so far is because my back stance twists so far. And I am really linear. I've got this hip rolled over this way. So for me to stop here, it blocks my shoulder. Here is where my body finishes from this angle. Now, is that right or wrong? It's right for me. Maybe right for you, but obviously it's not. So again, you go to wherever you end up. That's where you end up, and that's where you end up.
In order for me to go further, like my shoulder.
Right. Then you don't ever do that. That is normally one of the overriding factors. Is the shoulder growth geometry, or the shoulder skeletal geometry. I've seen people, like, if this is the front of their body, and these are their shoulders, some people are really turned in this way, and I've even seen so many people that are turned this way. So for them to come here, like to do a straight down block, they're here because their shoulders are naturally so far back. And to get here, textbook version, doesn't work for them. A little personal rant for a second. One of the huge problems that I have with tournament karate is because everybody needs to look the same. No. Okay? All the people that do tournament karate and are like high level, look at them, they all look the same. Okay? Because they can all get that pretty whatever going. So the object is to make your art yours. Your style, your interpretation, your pretty, whatever that is to you, make it yours. Again, to see, again, personal opinion, been to tournaments, you've seen high-ranking tournament people. And yeah, they're okay. But it's like, they're cookie cutter. Okay, yeah, all right, whatever. But to see somebody different come out and have that it factor, to me, is infinitely more powerful visually and from a martial arts standpoint, because they own their space. They're not trying to portray 30 other people. They own what they do, and they do what they do very well. So, from a stylistic standpoint, that impresses me. From a martial standpoint, that's the way it should be. Because for you, like here, for you to make this kind of hammer fisty down block that I do, will put you so far out of position you can hit the back of the head. For me to do what you did, I can't deliver full power to him. So I have to do my way, you have to do your way. They're both right. Anything else? Touch up. All right. Pinan Yondan.
Pinan Yondan.
How'd you win? Slow down, slow down. Good. Step, kick, step, go back. You kick with the correct leg. Okay, turn, cat, middle outside block. I'm sorry, I know you did. Rear leg kick. Rear leg kick, set it down, punch, punch. There we go. Oh. All right, you're back. Much better. Okay. Sure. Now you're like, hurts my neck just watching it.
Looking for a stick, but they only have a squeegee.
It's okay. We'll get the sticks when we get back inside. You're familiar, at least with the word Aikido? Okay. You familiar with the art at all? No. It has the same lineage as our Taijutsu. It came through the samurai, the Japanese samurai. as their open hand art. You know, they lose their weapon, you know, that kind of thing. Our taijutsu, one of the reasons that I truly love our taijutsu is to me, it mirrors the karate. Okay, it's circular while linear combined. Aikido is strictly circular. Okay? Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. I don't like it. It doesn't suit me. I've seen some really good Aikido people who, well, maybe Aikido at the higher levels becomes more like our Taijutsu, but because I've seen some really high level guys do Aikido, and to me it doesn't look like what the lower level guys are doing, because the lower level guys are just circular. So, if I do just a straight line, I can get so much time. Even if I attempt to put a hip to it, if it's just linear, I'm over exaggerating, but I can only get so much time. If I do something that is just circular, it's kind of like that whip. If I take a whip and I just whip it in a circle, well, whatever. So kind of the same thing with Aikido. They like to make these big circles, at least at the lower levels, as I see it. They make these big circles, which, if I take a hold of somebody and I just turn them into a circle, okay, there are other things that I have to do to make that work, to do something right, just instead of spinning around and around and around. So I remember one time, Sean Eric and I were testing. He was whipping our rear ends. I mean, it was old school test. Don't ask me what rank it was because I don't remember. But we're beat, and we're doing bunkai. And he has me come in and throw a punch. And his intent was to take the punch, turn it back into an arm ball. Well, and I knew that's what as soon as I threw the punch and he grabbed me, I knew that's what he wanted to do. But he was so tired, he just turned, and he kept turning in a circle. I'm like, if this was 4 hours ago, I'd help you out. But I'm just going, okay? I ain't going down. I'm too tired to help you right now. I can't keep myself straight. So we ended up going around about 3 times. And out of the corner of my eye, I see Hachi going. And about the 3rd time, and I can kind of see Eric out of the corner of this eye, and he's going, why isn't this working? His brain's gone, too. He's like, why isn't this working? You know, you see that thought in his process. About the 3rd time around, Hachi starts to stand up, it clicks into Eric's head, and he does what you're supposed to do. After the test, Eric goes like, why didn't you go down? I'm like, man, I was too tired, and all you were doing was turning me in a circle. I ain't going down. I ain't too tired for that. So, I get it. Okay. So, okay, all of that to say this. Here, to finish off, boom, boom, this angle. When I come into these supported blocks, I don't want to do circle. I want, like we've been talking about, I want enough circle, but enough linear to turn into a helix, not a full circle. Here, as I load, and I come across, you know, however much of this you put into it, then I'll leave that up to you. Circle, so the hand drives this angle, not this one. Right. When you're doing, that's okay, when you're doing, that's what you're doing. You're taking and locking the hands to the hip and just making circles. You ever seen a baseball pitching machine? Okay. You got the 2 tires that are spinning, you struck the ball, boom. That's what we're trying to do. The hip and the shoulder are those 2 wheels. The fist, foot, whatever, elbow is that ball. So as I'm making this circle, just like if I was going to throw a punch off the back side, I'm not going to follow my hip with my hand. Same thing here. Now, I go really forward. That's just me. You probably want to go a little more sideways. But there's a sweet spot between too much sideways and not enough sideways. So more thinking about firing this hand or these hands off of this hip rather than marrying the two together.
This.
Oh, that way. All right, again, Pinonyandan.
Pinanyandan.
Hajume. Yeah, keep going, keep going. Yeah, I like that. Good. Good. All right. Much better. More than that, I like that. That's what I'm talking about.
This.
Firing off that side. Oh, feet. Remember, when you kick, you reload. Okay, if my feet are here. Well, let's say my feet are here in front stance. Shoulder width apart. Right? When I load, just by sheer body mechanics, this foot comes in to some degree. So I fire whatever that is. If I go straight down, I'm not in a front stance anymore. So when you do that side, the turn, kick, elbow, you fire that left kick, pull it back, and you put it down to the outside, and you end up in a pretty good front stance. But for some reason, when you turn this way, you got everything going, you pull it up, and you kind of cheat it. And you're a little bit too narrow, okay? It's better than it has when I have seen it before, but it still needs to be more. Because once we're here, and I've landed, a front stance this way is a front stance this way. So when I turn from here, I should be in a front stance. Right? It doesn't feel right when you turn, does it? Right. What? Because you're too narrow here, and you turn, if you actually let your body do what it wanted to do, you stand up and do like a hanzo on it. Right? It's like a short fighting thing. So after this kick, you got to put it back to your front stance for the elbow. So that when I go, on the end, similar thing. I've got to cross one hip width so that when I turn, I end up where I need to be on that turn.
And that's why I keep.
That's why you keep adjusting. You're trying, you are. And that's good. But you're not wanting to really commit to that step. You're kind of getting here and going. Now, if it's a knee issue, back, I get that. Then do whatever you need to do. But if it's just being timid, kind of works out. So here, I cross, and I turn. So I end up on that 45. Again, Pinanyandan.
Pinanyandan.
Hajime. Yeah, good. That's what I'm talking about, right there. Keep going. Yeah, really good.
Stay in the cat.
Keep going. That is the turn I'm talking about right there. Yeah, now we're cooking. Good. Now man, that is what I'm talking about right there. One thing I noticed that may help. If it helps, keep it. If it doesn't, don't. When I'm here, don't be afraid to preload that foot. So I'm here, I've done boom. As I go in here, I'm already loaded to kind of open this hip up. That's my good breath time. So that if I need to, I've got just that much more room. Now I have seen people, Sean Haney, you met Sean Haney? Okay. Dude's a freak. He does things that, to me, I can't imagine how his hips and knees haven't exploded by now. But he'll leave that foot locked in there and step over it. Again, it works for him, so I ain't going to argue with it. I got to open that foot up. Just as an FYI, in Chinese, in Tai Chi, Qigong, Kung Fu, they call it opening the qua. The hip and the pelvis for them is called qua. So they say open the qua. So I'm here, I make the kind of open all this up to give myself room. And for me, it also helps make the knee. Because if I'm here and I try to drive this knee, it doesn't quite feel right to me. All right, again, Pinanyanda. Hajime. Pause and down. There we go. If we're doing like a big group class, you're going to hold here, and then at Yamei, you're doing the rest of that.
I think it's more of a hip issue than a knee issue.
Okay.
I just think the hips are too tight.
Okay.
That's all. It's not hurting. It's just.
Okay. Get stiff and flexibility. I fully get that. Then I would really suggest preloading here as much as you can. And the other thing that is really going to help is going to be the timing between our order of movement concept, the eyes, feet, hip, hand. And as I'm here, if I go too late on the I'm already looking, eyes first, feet, hip, hand. In Taijutsu, we actually do a 360-degree turn. The first time most people hear that, they go, no way. Not unless you pirouette like a ballerina. That's not what we do. And then they see it, and they go, that's some kind of voodoo, until we figure it out. As I'm here, basically I'm going to turn 360 degrees and end up facing the way I'm here. So what most people try and do is this. Because they don't pay attention to my feet when I'm teetering. I didn't pay any attention to his feet when he taught me first either. Half the circle is already done. And then I step through. Same concept, Kinan Nidan. If I just try and step over this foot, I can't go anywhere. If I open, I step, and I pull through. Same concept here. You open that up to give yourself room to go someplace. Good? Need water? Good? Okay. Again, Pinanyanda.
Pinanyanda.
Hajime. Yeah, good. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Come on. Good. If you see two people doing something, whatever it is, you know, whatever it is, what is it about those two people that you can look at? We'll say that they are completely different skill levels at what they're doing. But you can look at them both and go, yeah, they're doing the same thing. This person has mastered whatever it is that they're doing. This person has not. What is it you think that cues anybody observing it to that fact?
For me, it's the confidence they exude.
Okay? How is that manifested?
Well, it starts in your brain and it ends in your movement.
Right?
So,
But
more confident, then you're sharper, there's no stuttering.
yeah, it's a, and I agree with what you're saying. Not words I would have chosen, but I fully get your point, and I agree with it. It's in what you were saying. It's visual in that the movement is not really conscious, and it's obvious because you know, carrying on a conversation, you want to do whatever. And there's no wasted motion, and there's a very specific timing that as an observer you might not be able to duplicate or even articulate, but it's obvious that one timing is better than another timing. And along those lines, I think I've told this story before. One of his favorite things to do, we'd be doing kata, and he'd be sitting up here in his chair, drinking his coffee, iced tea, whatever it is, and having a full-blown conversation with us about whatever subject came to his mind. When he first did it, we would stop and answer him. He's like, no, you keep going. And it was years, literally, before we realized he could care less about our thoughts on whatever that subject was. He wanted us to be able to separate that out, have your body work while your brain was doing something else. You know, in a fight, your brain goes somewhere else, but your body needs to do whatever it's doing. So kind of that same concept. You see somebody who has mastered whatever they're doing, they're, you know, blah, 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 and their hands or feet are doing whatever it is that they're doing. Kind of thing. So, same thing with kata. And one of the things that is kind of obvious right now that you're not real comfortable with this, okay, all this is pretty good, is this next series of events. Because you're thinking left hand, right hand, and it's obvious that you're thinking left hand, right hand. Because what you're ending up doing is going, you make this big load here. As I'm loading for the down block, I'm loading for the down block. This hand is already where it needs to be for that punch. So it doesn't turn into this kind of strange, goofy thing here. So one of the things that I like about our double blocking motion is it helps in situations like this. If I'm thinking double block, I end up where I need to be. And it gives this hand something to do, useful, rather than just kind of hang out here in space and then for me to go. And I've been there, done that. That's why you go, oh, I have another hand. It needs to do something. So what we do in basics is what you do in kata, is what you do in a fight. Okay, it's just that simple. So if you're leaving that out, at no point do we leave things dangling when we do basics. If I'm going to do a down block, I'm going to do a down block. Same thing here. All right, one more time. Hajime. Yes, that way. Good. Keep going. Keep going, keep going. Yeah, man. That is Pinan Yondan. You screwed up one place. Who cares? Right? Something that he liked to tell me a lot. In Shito-ryu, we talked about the 5 strategies: Raka, Rusui, Hangeki, Tenshin, Kushin. In Taijutsu, there are 9. One of which is called Kage, which is Japanese for concealment. It means to hide something. He would always say, you know, to kind of go along with one of his favorite sayings, which was better wrong strong than weak and right. He would tell us that if you screw up in a kata, it is your strategy, your kage concealment strategy, to screw up so well, it doesn't look like you missed anything. So that whoever watching you goes, did they screw up or did they not screw up? Because, you know, up here we've done it like, well, like a test especially. Somebody will do something, we'll look at each other and go, what was it? Like, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't right, kind of thing. But they're just standing there going, they know they screwed up, and you know, they're like, well, just do it again, you know, kind of thing. So same thing here. You screw up, you know you screwed up. I know you screwed up. No reason to tell me. Try and get one over on me. All right, let's go out on a big win. One more time. Pinan Yondan. Hajime. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Yeah, man. That was excellent. So we'll keep that. Now relax. Breathe. There you go. Good. Okay. From when we started today till now, night and day difference. Okay? And the only thing that you really did was go back to the basics. Okay? You know, with this hand doesn't need to be there, it needs to be here. And you put it back where it needed to go. That's all you did. And that's really all it is. Like I had a biology teacher in college. A bunch of people failed one of his midterms. He was ragging on everybody because he knew what happened. Everybody that failed, you know, they'd been out screwing off because it was just an easy biology class. He got up there and he's, you know, reaming the entire class out. And he goes, you know the difference between good and great? I was like, oh, it's about that much. And literally, good, sure. Great, it literally can be as much as that. That's what you did today. You tightened up maybe that much. Made a world of difference, not only visually, biomechanically, and martially as well. So, rock and roll. Oh, what the next? Go home.